Hey, it's Spence from LaunchFlows.com, and this is your example one video. Here we've got a donation checkout. This experience is something you can easily create using just a few components, and it works equally well for a donation as well as paying yourself if you're a freelancer. This is a way for somebody to give you a fixed amount or to name their price or donation. Here we've just used some basic buttons as well as a custom LaunchFlows component, which is for donation purposes. Let me show you how easy it works and then how we put it together so you can play on the back end. Here with the regular buttons, somebody can choose a predefined amount. Let's say $25. You'll notice it instantly takes them to the checkout page where they can see the amount of money, and they can either remove this and go back and start over, or even better, when they add something and they change their mind, they can just go back and change it and it will swap the other product out. That's displaying our solo checkout feature. The thing that makes it possible to have only one product in the checkout at a time means you don't even have to make people go to the trouble of clearing the cart. Once they've decided on an amount, we can do the multi-step checkout. But before we do that, let me show you how you can use the name your price. Instead of going with one of the predefined amounts, you can allow the people to use any price they want. Let's say $125.25. When they click to update, that's the amount they're going to give you with the very same product. Here they can use the multi-step checkout to fill out their information. So for example, Bob at buyer.com. Now we have the target buttons. These allow you to use any Elementor button as a remote target. We call them target triggers, actually. These buttons can be located anywhere in your layout, and they take you to the next step instead of making somebody just use the tabbed links at the top. So for example, we go to the next step of dedication. Here we're using an additional component called the additional fields. This takes the custom fields available in WooCommerce for additional things and moves them wherever you want. Here it's in honor of my piggy bank. Now we use the target trigger to take us to the final step, where we're demonstrating that you can use any payment gateway you wish, but you can selectively display whichever one you want based upon the product that's in the cart. Here I've got it showing all three, but if I wanted, I could choose just PayPal, cash on delivery, or any gateway that works with WooCommerce. It's 100% standard WooCommerce. Let's do our checkout with cash on delivery. Here you'll find that we can customize the button. We can either use a different syntax on the button text and stick with the default WooCommerce, or we can even replace this button with our own custom button from Elementor and put it anywhere else in the layout. Right now, I'm just simply using the standard button, and we're going to check out and go to a custom thank you page. No, we're not, because we've got this thing here. This is where we've removed the notices that would normally show up at the top of your page, and we've put them wherever we want them to go. This is true also for the coupon field as well as for the login. Now let's just change this so I can show you the rest of the checkout. We'll call this Steve Buyer. It's Bob's brother. Notice that WooCommerce is smart enough to know that somebody had already used that when trying to check out, because we've set it up that WooCommerce is not only doing this checkout and making them a customer, but it's also automatically registering them and logging them into their My Account, so you get the benefit of doing marketing automation and everything you want in one fell swoop. Now let's do the same checkout, and we'll move to the thank you page. Here we're displaying a custom layout that was as simple as just putting some Elementor stuff on the page, but we're using two components that are key to LaunchFlows. First of all, you can have your order review component. This lets you show somebody exactly what they bought without that ugly WooCommerce after the checkout display. Next, in this case, you can do the next step where we want them to be directed. Here by default, we're just sending them to the My Account dashboard. But you could likewise put a button or a link that sends them to your coursework, your paid content, or anything you wish. Best of all is they are already registered and logged in from just having done the checkout. So now when they click, boom, they're taken to the default dashboard where you can display any custom content you want with Elementor, as well as customizing all the tabs that allow them to see their orders, modify what they've done for their payment methods, and more. And that's it. Let's show you how it works on the back end. Here I'm using just a couple components. First of all, just one product is necessary, and it's a simple product. This is standard WooCommerce stuff. Because LaunchFlows gives you control over what the products do, everything you need to do is all in the same step that you're already going to use with WooCommerce anyway. Here we've got a product that's set to 0. Let me go to here. We put the price at 0 and made it virtual and simple. This means that we have full control over just adding the amount to 0 to come up with the price. Next, the Launch Flows tab allows us to dictate where this product will go in terms of our custom checkout page. That's what we just showed you. Finally, you can also customize the thank you page. And lastly, that solo checkout is what allows us to swap one product in for another one. Let me show you how the layouts look for Elementor. Here, we've only got 2 in place, one for the sales page and one for the checkout page. These give you the components you need to put on top of those 2 pages inside of your pages area. In the actual sales page, we got the 3 buttons. And remember, in the product, all you need to do is copy the direct checkout link, and that forms the basis for each button. Here you'll notice I pasted it in with product number 82, and at the tail end, I just said, and donation equals 25. For this button, I just added, and donation equals 50. And this one, donation equals 75. Now, for the actual donation form, we've got a special component from LaunchFlows. That's available by just typing in the widget area LaunchFlows, typing it properly, and dragging that into place like I've done before, and then just choosing the donation form component. Here it will remind you that it needs to be set up. Now, I'd already done this, but I'll do it again. I'm going to type in product 82, and then whatever I want to say in the button, click this button, and also what I want to say in the field. So donate this amount. And you'll see I've got the same thing going on as the one before. Now, because it knows the product and it's got your custom text, you can say anything you want and make it work any way you want. Any amount of money typed into this field will be added onto 0, so there has to be an amount of at least $1 for it to work. Let's delete this and I'll show you the front end. Now, by the way, before we go, this is just a decorative image. However, you'll see in a second on the checkout, we can actually use dynamic images from the product in the checkout. Here's the checkout. Again, 2 columns, really simple. I've put in a couple descriptive titles, and then here I've used the dynamic product feature. This allows us to take whatever is in the checkout and display any of its content. Here I chose to display the featured image of the product that was in the checkout. This gives me the ability to have one checkout work for every single product without me having to set anything else up. It simply knows which product is there, so anything I've done will show up properly and display the featured image. Next, I'm using the Fields Review component. This is like having a cart inside of your checkout. It shows the product, it allows you to remove the product, and it also gives the subtotal of that product, just like with the cart, except with none of the hassles of sending you places you don't want your clients to go. Here we've used the tabbed widget from Elementor free. Inside of that, we've got the Target Tabs button feature. For those, we simply create a button, save it as a template, and then inside of each of these fields, we use the manual syntax to represent both the fields we want to show from LaunchFlows. In this case, this is the billing fields, and then the button template. In this case, I made a button where I set it up to say add a dedication, and I told it that the next place it should go is dedication. I also added, as I mentioned, the login component, which allows you to move it from the top of the page, which can be, quite frankly, kind of annoying, where it shows up always at the top. And now you gain control to show it where you want. And like I demonstrated, I also have the ability to move all the WooCommerce notices where I want. And that's it. Now what I encourage you to do with this particular setup is play and have fun. Try some new components, move some things around. When you're done, you can save your results here as a new template. Then that template can be used as much as you want inside of your demo, and you can even download it and use it on your site when you've got LaunchFlows. So everything you play with and create here is yours to keep, share, and even sell to other people if you come up with something creative. I hope this gets you started, and I look forward to seeing you in example 2. See you then.